So you want to see some impressive numbers? Well, how about this one? Spending on blockchain technology is expected to have a compounded annual growth rate of 67% over the next 5 years. And on today's ETF battles, we've got a blockchain quadruple header. It's between 4 ETFs. It's KOIN, LEGR, BLOK, and BLCN. It's a lollapalooza of blockchain ETFs coming up next. Well, welcome to ETF Battles. I'm Ron DeLegge. Worldwide spending on blockchain solutions is expected to surge to an estimated $40 billion by 2025. Companies in nearly every industry sector are rushing to take advantage of blockchain, and many are even adopting their own private versions of blockchain tech and cryptocurrencies. The financial sector alone accounts for over 60% of the market value of blockchain worldwide, and block technology is spread to nearly every industry sector, from healthcare to agriculture, even utilities. Stodgy utilities, can you imagine adopting blockchain technology? The question is, which ETF is best to play this trend? Now, before we tell you, be sure to subscribe to ETF Guide TV. And if you'd like to see a certain ETF battle, give us your ticker symbols in the comment section below. And you can also hit us up on our Twitter feed at ETF Guide. You can also download a battle recap summary of today's show. Just hit the link in the description section below. Now, today's matchup is between 4 blockchain ETFs. We've got KOIN, LEGR, BLOK, and BLCN. Now, among these, BLOK, that's BLOK, is the largest by assets. It's got almost $2 billion altogether, which is roughly triple the combined asset base of the other 3 blockchain ETFs in today's battle. So you got the little kids trying to knock off the big kid, but never mind assets. Which of these 4 blockchain ETFs is the better play? Well, helping us to judge today's matchup, we've got Eric Balchunas, Senior ETF Analyst at Bloomberg, Todd Rosenbluth, Director of ETF Research at CFRA. It's Eric's first appearance on ETF Battles, so a warm welcome to you, Eric. And Todd, it's always great to see you.
Great to be with you again, Ron. Good to have Eric on board.
Yeah, Todd, take it easy on me.
It's the ETFs that are in battle, not you and I. We're the judges.
Oh, okay.
So nice to have both of you with us. I forgot to mention, besides covering ETFs at Bloomberg like a Jedi, Eric is also the author of the Institutional ETF Toolbox, and it's a 5-star reader-rated book, so go pick up your copy at Amazon.com. So the 4 battle categories for today's quadruple header are cost, exposure strategy, performance, and then we've got our mystery battle category. That's where you, the judges, get to pick that one factor or maybe several factors that are going to support your analysis. Now, the mystery category is one of my favorites because it allows us to see your approach, each of our judges, to ETF investing, and it's always a surprise. So we're going to have to see what our judges come up with. So my battle scorecard is awfully crowded. As you can see, we've got all 4 ETFs in today's header on there, and I've got the scorekeeping chores. And my scorecard, like I said, is crowded but ready. So we're going to give each of our judges an extended shot clock of 1 minute. We go from the normal 30 seconds to 1 minute just because we have so many ETFs to analyze at the same time. We're going to begin with the first category, which is cost. And Todd, you're up. How do you see it in terms of the winner between these 4 blockchain ETFs?
So we at CFRA look at costs from a couple of perspectives. We're looking at the expense ratio. In this case, LEGR is cheaper at 65 basis points. But all of these products are relatively expensive compared to traditional ETFs and within the same range from one another. What also, as an offset, is that BLOK trades more. The volume is picked up significantly as the assets you mentioned climbed in. So we're going to give this a split decision. So between LEGR and BLOK from the trading volume and the expense ratio standpoint.
Thank you very much, Todd. That's a strong start. Eric, how do you see it in terms of cost?
Yeah, so I think when you're going into the thematic category, cost is probably much further down the list. So I don't give it as much weight as, say, an S&P 500 ETF. But if you look, you've got BLOK is 70 basis points. It's a little more expensive than the others, but as Todd said, LEGR and KOIN are a little cheaper, but they're all in the ballpark. Nobody has come in and vanguarded this category yet, so that's almost a wash in my opinion. So then you look at the spread, and BLOK crushes here. So the bid-ask spread turned into basis points is going to be about 15 bips, and the others are going to be 41, 30, 29, depending on the trading day. They could be a little tighter than that. That's just the average over time. So you are going to look at that bid-ask spread adding a little more to the other. So I would have to give BLOK the win here based on the volume, which has created a nice tight spread, and the expense ratios to me are a wash.
Excellent. Our next category is exposure strategy. Eric, you're still up. Which of these 4 blockchain ETFs wins?
So again, I got to go with BLOK, because when you're designing an ETF, and we see this more and more, do you want to go for maximum pop potential, like the pure play, really going after some of the small and mid-cap names in that category? And that's what BLOK does. It's 41% mid-cap, 28% small cap. The others are almost all large. The other thing I like about this is that it's going to be actively managed. And so it doesn't have an index. And so what it's been able to do is buy GBTC, which essentially gives us exposure to Bitcoin itself. That is like a little piston firing away in this thing. It's not a huge exposure. It's around 3%, but I like that too. And then you look at the actual stocks, it's stuff like MicroStrategy, Hive, Riot, Galaxy. But then you look at like something like, I don't know, KOIN, and you've got PayPal, Intel, Microsoft, and Amazon. So I think if you want something that's not going to move a lot, but has stocks you already own, KOIN or LEGR would do well. But the pure play would be BLOK and BLCN to a degree, although that one holds like Barclays. It's interesting. So for me, I would want to get those stocks that I don't already own. So BLOK also gets the win here for me.
All right. That's excellent analysis. Todd, how do you see it in terms of exposure strategy? Do you agree with Eric's analysis?
I do. So BLOK, let me just cover a couple of things Eric did, but in my words, BLOK is actively managed. When you look inside the portfolio, you're going to see blockchain in the name of many of the holdings. I don't want to usually make it that simple, but with something as thematic and as targeted, if you are looking for blockchain exposure, then you want blockchain exposure companies to rise to the top. And because this is actively managed, the fund can shift its exposure, can deal with its cash a little bit better. As Eric mentioned, it can go into Bitcoin directly. So this is, to us, is a better way of getting exposure as opposed to the large cap technology names you'll find primarily in the rest of the portfolios.
The next battle category is performance. And Todd, you're still up. How do you see it in terms of the winner?
Well, you gave us a minute, but I don't need a minute on this. All you have to do is see that BLOK is up over 200% within the past year, 50% over the last 3 years. It's crushing its competition. And in fact, if we pulled up a chart that showed BLOK versus LEGR, for example, it's a wide spread. BLOK is just crushing it. Again, past performance, not indicative of future results. But if you're looking at the track record, you got to be impressed with what BLOK has put up.
Very good. I agree with that take. How about you, Eric? How do you see it in terms of performance between these 4 blockchain ETFs?
Yeah, I mean, BLOK is in full-on shiny object mode. I mean, the spread between them is fascinating. I was talking on Twitter the other day about the uranium ETFs having a 70% gap. This is way more than that, and I don't think I've seen anything as wide. And I think there are some people who are just a little, they don't want to ever underperform. If BLOK has a bad run, it will severely underperform. The others should do better, because if you look at the standard deviation, BLOK is a much higher standard deviation. So it's going to be more jumpy and lose more in a downturn. And that is one thing you have to accept. That said, if I'm doing a barbell strategy and I want this on top of some cheap beta, I want that volatility. I want the pure play and the maximum pop potential. And so therefore I would give it to BLOK again. But again, that performance is obviously has already happened. And that's something that is important to point out. It's not necessarily going to happen in the future.
So your pick for this category?
BLOK again, because the performance really to me is a byproduct of the nice, tight, smaller mid-cap exposures that it has.
All right, I got you down for BLOK on performance. We move next to the mystery battle category, where our judges can pick that one factor or any multiple factors that support their analysis. So, Eric, what's your mystery battle category, and which of these ETFs wins it?
I'm going to go to the sectors here because I found this really interesting. I know this is probably part of the exposures, but BLOK has the highest sector in financials and consumer non-cyclicals and some technology, but the other ones load up on tech. And I feel like tech is so prevalent in many people's portfolios that I like the fact that it's tilted away from tech a little bit to get some of these other companies. And also, It's interesting to me, Ledger has 38% in financials. So I think if you're looking to maybe capture the blockchain as part of the way banks and financial institutions are moving forward, it's possible you can do that, but they don't really get revenue from the blockchain, but it might help their revenue. So I would give a runner-up to Ledger if that's your goal, is to go after the blockchain in the financial industry. But again, I like BLOK because it isn't reliant on the tech sector completely like a lot of these theme ETFs are.
Well, that's convincing analysis. Todd, what about you? What's your mystery battle category and who wins it?
So it's less of a mystery to folks that have tuned in and heard me beforehand, but CFRA has a star rating methodology that's a predictive of which ETFs are going to outperform. It's not versus these 4 ETFs, but I am using these 4 ETFs. And so BLCN gets a 5-star rating to CFRA. We have 4 stars on KOIN and Ledger, and a 3-star on BLOK. Part of that is being a reversion to the mean. The big thing I want to highlight is just the risk. Eric touched on the standard deviation. We just think that there is higher risk within BLOK. So choosing them based on the mystery category, we would choose BLCN as the winner on a go-forward basis.
We've reached the final part of the show. This is where our judges get to pick their overall battle winner, and each of you will have your final chance to do that. So Todd, who is your overall battle winner in this blockchain ETF Lollapalooza?
So my overall winner is BLOK. It was tied in a split decision from a cost standpoint. It won, in my book, from exposure and performance, and was okay from the mystery battle category. But BLCN is a strong product, and LEGR or Ledger is a strong product as well. I think we can guess which one Eric is going to do. He chose BLOK across the board on this, but I'll let him put his own words behind this.
All right. Well, Eric, this is your final opportunity to weigh in. We don't want to take the words out of your mouth. Who's your overall winner?
It would be great if I picked like another one, but yeah, that would be just a nice twist ending to the show here. But BLOK, I mean, normally this is not that easy. When I look at 4 theme ETFs, sometimes I can feel a little more torn, but I got to tell you, again, if I'm going for the blockchain theme, I want to go outside of the main indexes and the stuff I already own, and I want a lot of pop. And that's what BLOK is going to give me. And that really carries the day here. And to just plug our own strategy, we have a thematic capture score for ETFs, which looks at the active share and the revenue percent that is from the theme. And BLOK also scores the highest easily of these. So again, this was an easy competition for me. Normally it's a little tougher, but I would go with BLOK. All
right. Well, thank you, judges. You have spoken. And according to my battle scorecard, BLOK is the winner. We had really a split decision in terms of cost there. But then in terms of the other categories, our judges agreed in terms of exposure strategy. Performance was wowzer for BLOK. That's amazing performance, at least historical. We don't know how it will perform in the future going ahead, but you agreed in that category. And then in terms of the mystery battle category, each of you had your own takes, but you did in the end agree on the overall battle winner. So were you surprised, judges, by today's outcome, Todd?
No, I mean, I think that the flows confirm what we're saying. We've seen this theme resonate quite sharply, and BLOK in particular be the biggest boy out there. So it's gathering the assets for the right reasons. I think investors that have made the decision will be happy with it, assuming they're willing to take on that risk.
Eric, final thoughts?
Yeah, and I would agree in that. And it's interesting they made it active. I've been seeing more and more theme ETFs go that direction, because sometimes a theme, especially with Bitcoin, crypto, or innovation, can change very quickly. Also, it gives them the option to buy GBTC, which is actually Bitcoin. And I was amazed at how different BLOK was from the other 3. I thought I hadn't dug into these in about a year, and I just thought they were a little closer. But BLOK really carved itself out as the pure play here, and was really no contest. I wanted to disagree with Todd. Like I was looking forward to having a little static with Todd here, but Todd, I completely agree. I think, look at us. There's no side bets. We just agree.
I was going to say we'll have to do it again, and we'll choose another theme strategy, and I'm confident we'll have a friendly debate.
Yeah, I'm confident we'll be able to find something you guys disagree about in the future. So a great job again to our judges. Thank you, Eric, as well as Todd, for excellent analysis and helping us to sort through this quadruple header. And that does it for this round of ETF Battles. Don't forget to download the battle recap for today's matchup. Just hit the download link below. Which ETF battles would you like to see in our next episode? Post your thoughts on our YouTube comment section. Hashtag ETF Battles. And you can also find us on Twitter at ETF Guide. Thanks for watching. I'm Ron DeLegge. And until next time, watch the battle before you invest.